Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is December 30th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1953, Big Bill Kazmaier. 1967, Canada's own PCO. 1983, watch out for that Boston Knee Party, it's Eddie Edwards. And last but not least, 1990, Rey Fenix. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for December 30th. 1998, promoter extraordinaire, Sam Mushnick. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for December 30th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going all the way to 1952, where we see Ben and Mike Sharp win the San Francisco version of the NWA World Tag Team titles for a seventh time, defeating Fred Atkins and Ray Eckert. Groove into the year 1966, Paul Jones defeats Tony Bourne for the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight title, ending Bourne's seventh reign and beginning his second. 2 years later in 1968, Bobby and Lee Fields defeat the Mighty Yankees, Frank Morrell and Eddie Sullivan, in Memphis, Tennessee to win the Mid-American version of the NWA Southern Tag Team titles. Making two stops in 1972, The Sheik defeats Bobo Brazil for the Detroit version of the NWA United States Heavyweight title in Detroit, Michigan. This ended Brazil's fifth reign and began The Sheik's third. Our second stop in 72, Vern Gagne and Bill Robinson defeat Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens for the AWA World Tag Team titles in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Fast forwarding 3 years to 1975, Black Gordman and Goliath defeat Rock Riddell and John Tolos to win their 10th NWA America's Tag Team title. Moving to 1978, Terry Funk defeats Dick Slater for the NWA Florida Southern Heavyweight title in St. Petersburg, Florida, ending Slater's third reign and beginning Funk's second. Staying in 1978, Dick Murdoch defeats Buck Robley in Kansas City, Kansas for the NWA Central States Heavyweight title. Grabbing my boombox and going to the 80s, 1984. Terry Taylor defeats Eddie Gilbert to win the CWA AWA International Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee, ending Gilbert's second reign. That next year in 1985, Bill Dundee defeats Jerry Lawler for the AWA Southern Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee. This began Dundee's ninth reign and ended Lawler's 36th of 5,675. Staying in 85, Tim Horner wins the Southeastern version of the NWA United States Junior Heavyweight title for a second time in Birmingham, Alabama, defeating Ken Timms. 3 years later in 1988, Cactus Jack defeats Eric Embry for the world-class light heavyweight title in Dallas, Texas, ending Embry's fourth reign. Our final stop in the 80s, 1989. King Cobra defeats Jerry Lawler to win the USWA Unified Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee, ending Lawler's third reign of 5,675. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1992. Big Van Vader defeats Ron Simmons in Baltimore, Maryland to win the WCW World Heavyweight title, beginning his second reign. And last but not least, 1997. As part of the NWA Invasion angle in the WWF on Raw is War in New Haven, Connecticut, Jeff Jarrett defeats Barry Windham to win the NWA North American Heavyweight title. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for December 30th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.